Well, good evening, beautiful jazz musicians of University Prep. It's time once again for tonight's Vinyl Delights, and I got a doozy for you tonight. Just trying to come up with something that relates to some of the conversations we were having in class, about Ted Goya's book, How to Listen to Jazz. And one of the things that we were discussing was the idea that these sort of mid-tempos kind of just above the heartbeat, are some of the hardest tempos to play. Much harder than playing fast tempos, much harder than playing slow tempos, because they have the tendency either to drag or to rush. It's virtually impossible to keep these tempos. And in the book, Goya mentions the bassy tune Little Darlin', which a bunch of my students have played over the years. And I was trying to think of other tunes that kind of fit into that tempo, and I was thinking that the Oliver Nelson tune Stolen Moments, which most of you have probably played over the years in my bands, kind of has that same lilt to it, right? And that comes from this record right here, Oliver Nelson's Blues and the Abstract Truth. This is such a heavy album because of this lineup right here. This is just, you can't get better than that. This is right around early 1960, early 60s here, and all of these musicians were at the top of their game and just crushing it, and somehow Impulse, Creed Taylor got them together to do this all on the same album. Just fantastic. So Oliver Nelson, he wrote all these tunes based on either the blues or rhythm changes, and then kind of played around with the forms of the songs to fit the melodies that he had written. So they're not standard, like this is a 16-bar blues, and some of the other songs have some other sort of odd numbers of measures and things, but they all just flow so well because he's such a great composer and such a fabulous arranger. Sometimes it sounds like a big band on here with four horns, because he's such a great arranger. And these old Impulse albums, they're called gatefold albums because they open up like this, and they have beautiful pictures and liner notes. These liner notes were written by Oliver Nelson himself, and they're fascinating. He talks about each song and everything, and they're just lovely. This one's lamination's coming off a little bit, but like I said, this is like 1961 or something, 1962. This is a second pressing. But check out these solos. This is Freddie Hubbard soloing right now. The solos on this song are so iconic. I think if you talk to any jazz musician, they can probably sing every single solo from this album, certainly from this song, because everybody just was killing it on this one. Eric Dolphy, here's Eric Dolphy now, plays a great flute solo. Oliver Nelson's solo is understated and gorgeous. Bill Evans plays a nice solo. It doesn't get much better than this. And even these guys who are the masters of the game, right, they speed up too. If you clock them at the beginning and clock them at the end, you'll see that they gain a couple of clicks throughout this song. Does it matter? Not at all, because the groove is so strong. Roy Haynes, Paul Chambers, just holding down the groove all the way through. So I'll post the video. I mean, you've all heard this song. We've played this song in class so many times, but I'm going to post the video. Check it out again and try to really focus in on that groove, that bass and drums connection. Try to see if you can find the tension, that exists between those two instruments and how that tension can create that beautiful feeling of swing and that beautiful feeling of groove. So really focus in on that, and then take another pass at it and listen to the solos, because the solos are just remarkable on here. All right, that's it. Tonight's Vinyl Delights, The Blues and the Abstract Truth, Oliver Nelson, Impulse A5, the fifth release on the Impulse records from the early 60s. All right, enjoy. Have a good one. I'll see you in class, and I'll see you again for tonight's Vinyl Delights.